Hello everyone. I wanted to just remind you that today is the last day to complete the context of the problem section, September 30th, 2013. You have all day to finish up, and tomorrow I'll start looking at your work and providing feedback. I was looking at some of your work this morning, and again September 30th, and I wanted to provide a little bit of feedback based on what I've seen so far, some things that you might want to consider and remember as you are developing and making changes to this first section. The first thing here is that since the section, the context of the problem section, is not all that long, it's 800 words, around 4 or 5 paragraphs, it's not necessary to add any additional headings. So we're not going to have any level 2 headings that we will have in the method section, as we talked about in class. So again, no additional headings. If you want to include a title of your work, which is fine, include that at the very top of your document, above the context of the problem heading. Another thing to look at, and in fact, when I look at your work, the very first thing I'm going to check is the very last sentence of your introduction paragraph and the first sentences of each of your body paragraphs. The very last sentence of your introduction paragraph is your thesis statement. That is the main idea of your entire essay. The very first sentence of each of your body paragraphs is the main idea of each paragraph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see if those topic sentences of each body paragraph align directly to or with the thesis statement in the last sentence of your introduction. I'm looking to see if it explicitly states and aligns with the main idea of your thesis. So you can be very explicit in your thesis statement and be specific enough to mention it then again in your topic sentences. So it's okay to repeat those. Also, I'll be looking at the very first sentence of your conclusion paragraph to make sure that you're restating and rewording the thesis statement that you included in the last sentence of your introduction paragraph. Another thing to remember is I think some of the paragraphs that I've seen so far are short in the sense that they have few sentences. Some of them have some sentences that I saw are really long sentences, but in general you want to have roughly 4 to 8 sentences per paragraph. I would try to develop good paragraphs, making sure that the paragraphs or the sentences aren't too long, but that they are concise and that they're clear. So do make sure that your paragraphs have at least 4 sentences. I would recommend probably 5 sentences, no more than 8 sentences, I think, as a general rule. Again, it's going to depend on if you have simple sentences or compound sentences and complex sentences. But as a general rule, I think that's a fairly good criteria to follow. And you're probably not going to have more than 150 to 200 words per paragraph, again, as a general rule. Now, another thing to remember is APA. Some of the citations that I found had colons, so remember that APA uses commas instead of colons to separate the year and the page number, for example, or the author and the year if you're including the author's last name in the citation. So remember that. Also remember, very important, that your references should be included at the very bottom. All of your references should be included in the reference section list at the very bottom as you conclude your context of the problem section. Again, I would recommend completing in fact, if you have all of your references, I would add them either as you go, which would be ideally, I think that's the best way to handle it, but at least get them in there to make sure that you're not leaving them out when you conclude this first section of your action research project. So these are some things to keep in mind as you're finishing up, and I'll be looking at your work tomorrow, giving you feedback, and then we'll continue on with the rest of your action research projects, that is with the method section, results, and discussion. So I look forward to seeing your work. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me via Canvas, come by my office, or see me in class.